90 Minutes with Mathematical 7, sponsored by Airpeace Airline.
Airpeace, our home. Oh, your peace, our goal. Everyone has a place they need to be. Everyone has a face they need to see. When you go away, you love to fly, and we fly you safely through the sky. Ticket affordable, city comfortable, we very reliable. We care for you. Airpeace, our home. Oh, if you're gonna fly, then you should fly with us on Airpeace.
Good morning. This is 90 Minutes with Mathematical, coming to you live from our studios, the studios of Eagle 7 Sports Radio in Pansheke area of Abeokuta, Ogun State. It's a great morning out here in Abeokuta. The city is bubbling. Tons of my friends, mostly from Lagos, in town for the extraordinary event which we call the annual retreat. It's been going on now for 12 years, and you cannot believe how many people come for the pilgrimage. It is driven completely by members of the Black Table. You shall be hearing more about that social club. And these days, they are being joined by also members of the Ikeja Police College tennis section and a few members from Ikoyi Club. More and more people are getting involved in this annual pilgrimage to the ancient city of Abeokuta. Some of it holds here in Abeokuta, but most of it, particularly everything that will take place today, will be at the campus of SOCA in Wasimi, Orile. Wasimi is going to receive unusual guests, almost 100 of them, who are going to storm the village and go through their annual rituals. They are going to tell you about everything today when my guests come on the show. We'll be having this exciting conversation about the retreat, the unusual retreat in Wasimi and Abeokuta. And we shall be discussing the state of the nation. It's the title of the special lecture that will be delivered at the retreat by my special guest this morning on the show, who is on his way, Dr. Adewalè Adeagbo, an incredible human being, deep intellectual. You'll be meeting with him on the show this morning. And of course, we'll give the listener an opportunity to call in and participate in our discourse. And the numbers, I will just take those numbers slowly so that you can write them down. 0700 2255 1037. 0700 2255 1037. And the second number, which is a lot easier, is 090 9999 1037. 090 9999 1037. Join us after the break.
Airpeace, our home. Oh, your peace, our goal. Everyone has a place they need to be. Everyone has a face they need to see. When you go away, you love to fly.
My name is Tunde Kelani TK. I'm a storyteller and filmmaker. Right now you are listening to Eagle 7 FM 103.7 right here from Abeokuta City.
Welcome back. My first guest is here in the studio with me, and I want to ask him that question, what he thinks about Finidi George and what I just read. I have the pleasure of welcoming the Kaptain. We call him as Kaptain. He's the leader, the captain of the Black Table. You'll be hearing more about the Black Table. He's a financial consultant, a guru, actually. Adewalè Adeagbo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Big Shakes. Thank you, sir.
You are looking good in Abeokuta. I see you often in Lagos.
Yes, sir.
And in Lagos, you look harassed. But here is far from the madding crowd.
Absolutely.
In Abeokuta.
Yes, sir.
So how have you found Abeokuta?
Abeokuta is a wonderful place for me. Like you said, I'm much relaxed out here, away from the hustle and bustle of Lagos. So, you said that right. If I could spend more time or find more time, I would come out here and relax more often, because it's a very good place to come and just, chill out and, just reminisce on other things as well. Thank you.
Okay, before we go into why you are in Abeokuta, you heard me, comment on Finidi George, and I know that this matter is one that every Nigerian would have a say one way or the other. My own position is that, the era of white foreign coaches is gone.
Yes.
I must not come back. And Finidi, as far as I'm concerned, is a good choice for national coach. What do you think?
I think you've said it all. I think it's a new time for us in Nigeria. Finidi George, growing up as a young man myself, enjoyed his football. Not known him personally as a person, but, obviously very skillful, very experienced footballer. If you're to mention all the, international footballers in Nigeria, you'd have to mention Finidi George as well. So for me, I think that's a very good appointment. I am particularly pleased that, Finidi George has been appointed as the first, black natural coach in that sense. I mean, in this time, we need that. We've seen that even the foreign coaches that we've had and managers, did their best, but don't have that local knowledge and the way to actually, interact with our people. For me, this is a new day, like I said. I'm really pleased about that. I pray that, he would step up, to that position and create, a serious impact in the Nigerian football, academy in that sense, the football space. So, my congratulations goes out to him as well. And I know with, the support of Big Shakes, big brother, I'm sure he would do very, very well. Thank you.
Well, you are putting me right on the spot there. I don't know what kind of support I can give him, but that's fine. Finidi, you are welcome to that hot seat.
Absolutely.
And we all wish you the very best of luck, particularly coming from the Black Table. Yeah. The Black Table. So many people have asked me, what kind of name is this that? Black Table?
Yes.
And I know that I belong there. I'm a patron of the Black Table.
Yeah.
A proud patron of the Black Table.
Absolutely.
And we've been together for such a long time. Almost 12 years now.
12 years. Our time flies.
12 years now. And you are in town. You are painting this town red, black, and blue. So tell us about, why you are in Abeokuta.
Yeah.
And the Wasimi axis, Abeokuta-Wasimi axis.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Our patron, also my big brother, my friend, Big Shakes. Thanks for that introduction. The Black Table was founded in 2013, precisely January 28th. It's a social club for upward mobile, like-minded gentlemen of diverse backgrounds who were and are avid patrons of a place called the Wise Ken Bar and Restaurant in Bagada, Lagos. We've been together. We've been together for, like you said, now 12
Say that
years.
again. Bar.
Wise Ken Bar and Restaurant in Bagada, Lagos.
Yes.
And, we're in Abeokuta. We always come to Abeokuta. And as Big Sheiks has said, he's actually our patron. He's been with us for a very long time, supporting us from the inception of the club, even up until now. And so we have what we call our yearly retreats in Abeokuta, particularly at the Ogun Adeagbo International College and
Sports
Academy. Yes. So we've been in Abeokuta since yesterday. We always have our retreats over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We started very well yesterday, and we also have other activities today. Do you want me to talk about the Black Table, the name itself? Because you said something like
you
that.
are free. You are free. The world is listening to you. The whole world is listening to you.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, so why not?
Yeah, the Black Table. You see, everywhere you hear black, you kind of think there's something sinister, something not quite right about being black. And so every time we said the Black Table, they're thinking, oh, is this a cult or, And the name Black Table came up simply because at that time when these young men of various backgrounds were actually meeting together at this bar to relax after work or over the weekend, there was this traditional black table that was there, a rectangular black table. And when the club was formed, they thought, what would be the name? And because they're so used to that black table, once you come into Wise Ken, that's the table you will see in front of you. And so we sat there, and everyone, thought, what would be the name? And somebody suggested, and said, this black table is very, significant to us. Why don't we call this club the Black Table? And that's how the name started. So we're not a sinister organization. We're more of a friendly social
No, and in fact, we
club.
have to dispel
Yes.
that notion that
Black yes.
is sinister,
Absolutely.
is dark.
Yes.
Whereas, even as an art student, black is the absence of color. That means you are just waiting. There's no color.
Absolutely.
So, and you can paint as you like
on black. Wow.
It affords you the opportunity
That's a
to
revelation.
be creative. Meanwhile, white is the collection of all color. It is dirt. White is dirt. Color is the absence of dirt. So in reality, when we say black, we are black people. We are the best people in the world, my brother.
Precisely,
Please go ahead.
100%, sir. So that's it, basically about the Black Table. I'm not sure what else you want to...
we want to whet people's appetite.
Oh, really? Okay.
With what we do here during our retreat.
Absolutely.
Starting with, I know that we have hunters. They must have gone hunting this morning.
Yes, our hunters.
We start with aerobics and all that.
Okay, yesterday, thank you, Big Sheiks.
Okay.
Yesterday we had, it was the beginning of the retreat, and we had a film show through the director, Mr. Tunde Kelani. As always, he has always supported us. And it was a very interesting film that we watched. Every member, as well as our guests, participated at that near the poolside of the conference hotel here in Abeokuta. Today is actually the highlight of our retreat, and very soon we'll be taking off to Wasimi, where the school is, and from there we'll be doing lots and lots of activities. The first thing we start with is usually our aerobics class, which takes about 30 minutes. And then we also have the American-style tennis, lawn tennis that we play. And that takes us into maybe 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. At that time, we'll also, meet together to actually have what we call some bonding sessions. And those bonding sessions are very, very important to us, because what it does is that there are various games that we all come together to do, and then that makes us work together, think together, communicate together, and also as a way of just men bonding with our friends. After that, like you said, the hunters have gone out, and they'll be, obviously, every time they always come back with some very good bushmeat, which I particularly look forward to. So with the bushmeat, we'll have that as a break in the afternoon with, good, fresh palm wine. Those palm wines are incredible. I love them. So after the palm wine, we now have what we call lunch, proper lunch as well, with some choice drinks just for ourselves and our guests. And then after that time, we'll then have like the talk, which is like the main motivational speech by our guest speaker who will come and challenge us and speak to us about interesting things. This year, the theme is Nigeria.
Is the state of Nigeria,
the state of Nigeria,
the nation.
Yes, state of the nation.
2024 and beyond. Just looking into Nigeria and all of that.
Absolutely. So yes, you'll be talking to us about that. And how do you see Nigeria? Do you see him as a dream, or do you see it as a reality? Whatever it is, he's going to be sharing with us. We're excited to have him talk to us about that, and I know it's going to be a time of brainstorming together. Thank you, sir.
Well, it doesn't finish there. Because the best part of it for me is that I'm going to put you on that football field and I'm going to teach you a few tricks.
I know. I can't wait,
You are avoiding discussing that aspect because the black table would always lose to police college and the rest of the world.
Not quite, sir. Not quite. I think the last time we won, 2 years ago we won. Last year, I'm not sure what happened. I think
you like to go into history.
No, because you said they always whip us, and I don't agree with that. We don't take to people whipping us, Although they're a very good team, and we look forward to always having that football match with the police college. They're wonderful people. They've always been with us from the onset as well.
And are they in town?
They're in town. They came in. There's quite a few of them. We had dinner together yesterday. We watched the film together with them as well yesterday. So I'm reaching out to our brothers at the police college. Thanks for coming. We're looking forward to seeing you later on today as well at Wasimi.
Well, you see, when you talk of the black table, and in your introduction, you just said, how did you describe it? Highly mobile professionals and so on. It would be nice for people to know the caliber of persons.
Okay, sir.
Because when we congregate at Ken, the bar and the eatery there, we are not congregating as just ordinary folk.
Yes.
These are. Tell us a few about the professionals there.
Absolutely. We've got quite our membership is about 60. We started with about 32 members in 2013, and we've now grown the membership to about 60, which is deliberate because we don't want to grow too quickly. So we try and reduce our, membership every year. Now, our membership is very, very varied. We have different people within the club. You have accountants. I'm a chartered accountant, and I'm FCA. I actually do audit and tax, but also I'm into corporate finance. We have very, very good lawyers in our midst. We have, bankers, people who, if I tell you some of them, the positions they hold in the banks, their management positions. We have also avid politicians,
commissioners,
honorary members of the House of Rep. We have, within our midst, successful businessmen. And I'm not talking just local business, but also international business.
Why would I be moving with you guys if there's no prospect of me being a billionaire one of these days, like you guys?
Well, we're getting there, sir. Only just. So, yes, that's the black table. It's a very diverse, but we're very together as well. And what we do is we actually collaborate with ourselves within our different professions. So you reach out to want a lawyer, you've got one within the club. You want an accountant, you've got one within the club. A banker, everything is within the club. It's very hard before we actually say we don't have this person. Just to give you an example, Yesterday, I was coming in from Lagos. I only had half a tank of petrol with this petrol shortage all over the place. And I just put it on the platform. I can't even remember who out of us, that's what I said on the platform, who out of us actually has a petrol station. I need petrol urgently. And, you know, Fat Bames is one of our members. And yes, so he actually I reached out to him and he told me, yes, whilst you're going on Magodo Road, he has a petrol station there. And that's where I stopped over and picked up some, you know, petrol. So it's things like that. It's, you know, how you actually use the club, you know, to your own benefit, to your own advantage, and to the members' benefits as well. So I think that tells you a little bit about who we are, you know, and yes.
Yeah, that's great. You just mentioned the petrol shortage.
Yeah.
And this is what we all experience, and it speaks actually to the state of the country. And it's either, you know, boom or gloom. I don't know which it is now. You know, I have a feeling that Nigeria is, you know, at the cusp of something.
Yeah.
You know, something either good or disastrous is going to happen to us. I don't know your own take on the state of the country. You know, looking at it professionally, you are talking about financing and all that. And all. What do you see?
I see personally, I'm a bit disappointed in some things, but I also see a very bright Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria roughly about 10 years ago. At the time I came back to Nigeria, I was at the peak of my profession in the UK. But there was something about Nigeria for me that, you know, I felt I needed to be back. And I don't think I made that mistake. It was initially difficult, you know, blending back into the country after being out for a long time, but the prospects here are immense. The, you know, the ceiling that we get in the UK as a black person or non-indigenous of the UK is, even though I'm a British subject, still have that glass ceiling up there that you couldn't go through that, you know. But in Nigeria, you know, you can break through all of that. And for me, those are the things that actually, you know, make it very interesting for me. Now, in terms of where we are as a country, yes, there are shortages of petrol, there's, you know, blackouts, there's issues and all of that there. But I think we're still developing. Yes, we could have done better in terms of some things, but I believe that there's hope and there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just to keep at it, we have to look for, our leaders needs to be a bit more, you know, hands-on with regards to the way they, you know, treat the citizenship. And otherwise, you know, things just doesn't get too good. But for me, I think Nigeria is a good place and things are going to get better. It's not all doom and gloom. Things are happening. People are enjoying themselves. We're in Abeokuta, for God's sake, and we're having a good time already. So I think that says it all.
You know, I don't know. I tell people that Nigeria is the best place in the world to live. And when you are talking of living, you know, the whole scope of living, you know, you are free. You can do what you like. The opportunities are everywhere. You are not oppressed. You are not discriminated against. You know, Nigeria is just such a great place that I wonder why there is jackpotting.
Absolutely.
Because the people who jackpotting, you lived in the UK.
Yes.
Just tell us the state of an average Nigerian in the UK beyond living in a house where there's electricity, there's water, you know, the roads are good. But living itself, you as the individual living, is this something that people should even consider going to jackpot when you have all of this around?
Absolutely. Well said.
Your thoughts on it?
You see, the thing is, you know, the picture that people see sometimes is not the reality of what it is and some of the stories that they hear. The UK is a good place in terms of development. You know, you get all sorts of things, jobs, good perks, they don't take your light and all those, you know, the roads are good and all that. But aside from that, that country has its own challenges as well. The type of space, you've just mentioned that, the freedom that we have in Nigeria. You can't have that kind of freedom in the UK. It's all pressurized work environment. People hardly have time to be able to, even spend with their families aside from work, go to work, come back, go to work. That regimental lifestyle is, for me, it was one of the reasons that I said I needed to break through that, that kind of lifestyle. And Nigeria, come on, it's like spreading your wings like an eagle. There's nowhere you can't go. There's nowhere you can't touch, the freedom, even the way the country is. So for me...
you can drink 3 beers and drive your car. Meanwhile, when you are in Britain, if you take a glass of beer, you'll be afraid.
This is it. They penalize you. You get tickets, and is that just that regimental lifestyle of you being watched every time and you been thinking that you're in a box. Even their houses, for us, that we have a lot of space. When you actually are in England, you're confined in a box. Some of us have done well in England. We have reasonably okay houses. And when they come in, they're thinking, wow, you have a place like this. Because they're so used to you having that small 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and that's it. Whereas in Nigeria,
you don't have a driver, you don't have a driver, you don't have a washerman, you don't have a cook.
Absolutely.
You don't have anything.
Any of those
you
things,
are on your own.
You do it on your own.
And what are the things you even
do?
Even what are the things that you do on your own? Mm-hmm. You are cleaning the street, you are working as the taxi driver, those are the things that they do there.
Yeah.
And you spend 18 hours of 24 hours doing those things. So me, I beg, leave me. I like my.
No, we'll stay here. The Jack Pass thing is a bit of a shame. I mentor young guys, and I spoke to, when this Jack Pass thing started, I shared my experience with some of the young men, and what I said to them was, at the time I left, I started, in the banking industry. But because I wasn't very good at marketing, for just a very flimsy excuse, and more so, it was during the time of Andrew, let's check out. So the country was in a bad state, and I was a British subject. I had the opportunity to choose whether I wanted to stay here or go to the UK. And so I took that step. But taking that step, coming back and seeing what my colleagues had achieved, for those ones who stood the test of time, it's incredible what they had achieved, not only financially, but in terms of even their career advancements and things like that. The people that I started with actually are MDs and EDs of banks with their own organizations and things like that. So I said, and for us who came back, we had to come back again and queue up because, you had jumped the gun. It's not the same way you left it. You got to learn that rope again for you to be able to get there. Eventually we are now, thank God for that. But the bottom line is, when you go out there, you're losing out on something that is very, very huge. This is our country. We need to build it together. Just, be patient, be resilient, and then just see it through. Before you know it, every time you come down, you cannot go further than the floor. The next thing is to rise back up. And it's always like that in every history. So for me, don't jackpot, or just stay here. That's my advice.
Stay here,
yes,
and do the sort of retreats that we are having now. The kind of fun we are having now, you will not have anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our telephone lines are 0700 2255 1037 0700 2255 1037. The second line is 090 9999 1037. We'll be able to take just a few calls before we start to head for our retreat in Wasimi. The public is not invited, though. Are you invited? We are not inviting anybody there. This is exclusive fun for us there. So let's take this first call before we go on our break. We take this first call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. It's Peter calling from Pancheke.
Peter.
Yes, sir.
Peter, how are you? How is Abeokuta? How is Pancheke this morning?
Pancheke is fine. The city is cool. We are calm, and we are enjoying the analysis and your program this morning.
Fantastic. And you are not jackpying to anywhere, Abi?
No. If I go, I will come back to my country because I have no other country than this place.
Fantastic, Peter. So, yes, you have a comment to make. He's gone. We've lost him. No, but he said some nice words there to us. We'll be taking some more calls, but let's go on this break. And when we come back, we'll continue with our conversation. I have a small story to tell, my personal experience about development and time and so on and so forth. But join us after the break. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio 103.7 FM from Pancheke.
Peace, our home. Your peace, our goal. Everyone has a place they need to be. Everyone has a face they need to see. When you go away, you love to fly, and we fly you safely through the sky. Ticket affordable, city comfortable, we very reliable. We care for you. At peace, our home. Oh, if you're gonna fly, then you should fly with us on Air Peace.
Hurricane.
We talk sports like no other.
All coaches can coach clubs, but not all coaches can coach a national team, e.g. Pep Guardiola. I don't understand it.
Mr. Godin called earlier on and he mentioned Pep Guardiola like example. Yes, I don't know why they mentioned Pep Guardiola.
Because I feel he cannot handle a national team.
Why?
Also, how many of the coaches they like can coach a national team?
Eagle 7 Sports Radio, where champions converge.
And we want to have a good time, and that's what we're going to do.
Welcome back. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio coming to you live from our studios in Pancheke, that's downtown Abeokuta, and this ancient city that holds such great fascination for me. It's a place where you go to retire. I know. You go to rest or to retire because there isn't so many industries and all those things around. I don't know why that is so, but I like the nature of the town, its quietness, the safety, particularly the security in Abeokuta is first class, and so on and so forth. Well, we've been having a conversation with Eddie Abraham, the captain of the Black Table.
Yes, sir.
And it's been truly refreshing, just listening to you. You whetted our appetite with all the things that we are going to be doing this morning on the campus. And one of them is the conversation we are going to be having with our very special guest, an erudite scholar, a policy analyst, and a social economist. I tell him every time that he's a scientist. The man is a G. He's just a G, And he's right here in the studio with us. And let me welcome, especially Dr. Adewalè Adeagbo. Good morning.
Good morning, my big sheikh.
So welcome to the show. And what's your take on Abeokuta?
To be candid, I haven't been here for quite some time. And just driving down this morning, I was marveled, actually, and impressed with the road network. It was quite serene. A couple of police checkpoints, which helps in terms of the perception of security and safety. Looks quite clean. The air has a different ambience to it. So I agree with you that it's a place to come to. It's a place to visit. It's a place to live. And it's a place that should expand its commercial terrain to maximize the serenity and the space that it has. I mean, the hilly space of Abeokuta in itself is exceedingly unique. It competes quite well with the 7 hills in Ibadan, like broken china in the sun, I would say. But the greenness on top of the hills are sights to really, enjoy and imbibe and breathe in. I think we need to sell it more. I think it's a very undersold place. It's a cool place.
I describe it to people as the epicenter of a new cultural and social revolution that is coming in the world because of its human capital. You know, what we have here is education. Look, I did something. I think you must comment. I did something last week. I was driving from here to, what's that place? No, Wasimi, but we went to one place down the road, Obada. It's about 3 kilometers or so. And I told some of my staff who were in the car with me to please help us count the number of middle-aged stroke old people that they find between here and Obada. Okay. Just look around and just count. If there's one old person you see, just count. Yeah. Or a middle-aged person, just count. And then we started on this exercise. By the time we got to Obada, one.
Wow.
Only one. Wow. They saw only one person who was even middle-aged. We'll comment on that. Oh, this phone call has gone. And I now told them, I said, do you know the strange thing about Abeokuta? Young people. It's a city of young people. Yeah. Schools all over the place. In the afternoon, just walk by anywhere, you will find students everywhere. In secondary schools, in tertiary institutions, they don't have hostels. They don't have their own hostels. So everybody lives in town. So the whole place is populated by young people. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
This is Gio Shikwade calling from Ashiru, Abeokuta.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes.
I have own mathematical Adeagbo, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
So how is the weather in your area of
Well, we thank God. We thank God, sir. You know, happy new month to you, you know, and everybody there, most especially your guests there. I've actually been listening to you, and I've been enjoying the analysis and, you know, all the discussions with your guests. You know, it's quite an interesting thing, you know. So I want to say, well, we've actually enjoyed that. But where I really want you, you know, really focus on, you know, is this. The issue of, you know, the new Super Eagles coach. Like you said, to me personally, you know, what, you know, the committee of Dr. Owolabi Salisu Owolabi had done, I've listened to him. And to me personally, they have done the best. Because when I listened to his interview, he said that, look, this time around, they have the love of the country at heart, and they will not do any mistake. If it's going to be a foreign coach, they will go for the best. If it's going to be an indigenous coach, they will go for the best. And they have gone for the best. Finidi is the right choice, just like what he said. But now, for us to be able to achieve the best, we have to, you know, work on the, you know, the salary. If they give them at least Finidi, nothing less than 10 million, is not too bad every month. If we can pay a foreign coach about $80,000, and that's about 100 and something million naira every month, there is nothing wrong if we give our own coach nothing less than 1 million. And those that work with him, I also want to recommend, if Dr. Salisu Owolabi is listening to me, maybe they should get somebody like SN and Silvanus Okpala. They have vast experience as well. They are also mature people that can work with that thing. And also Kadri Kana is at 72. At 72, the man is the first Nigerian to win African Champions Cup for Enyimba. The same thing applies to Finidi. Finidi came back and won, you know, National League for Enyimba. They are the right choice. Let them get the retinue of these coaches who are mature in mind to work with him. And I believe you me, Nigeria will surely achieve greatness. I believe in that.
Yeah.
SN has the love of this country, wants to, you know, coach Nigerian national team. Silvanus Okpala, I've listened to him too. He has the vast knowledge as well. Let them come together and be around, you know, Finidi. Believe you me, there is no country, even Brazil, Argentina, will face them and beat them neatly. Because when we have, you know, collection of such, Nigerian coaches, Nigeria will surely achieve greatness. That is my own opinion and my submissions about this.
Thank you
and
very, very much. Thank you very, very much. You see, we all have hope that with Nigeria we can do well in football. And Nigeria should be like the lights of the country. It should be like, the football should be like the microcosm of the country itself to reflect how well the country is doing. Dr. Adeagbo, how well is this country doing? Thank you very much there. How well is Nigeria doing?
Thank you, Big Sheikh. I think I'm going to default to the comments and the football.
You are not a football man.
I know, but there's a strong metaphor between football and national development.
Yeah. Very good.
To me, let me put it on the table that I'm totally in support of a local coach in charge, but that shouldn't even be our starting point. And this is where we are missing it in terms of football and in terms of nation building. The starting point for us is to first define very clearly what is the purpose of football in Nigeria. What do we want football to become in Nigeria? How do we define Nigerian footballness, if I can use that phrase? When we are clear about that, the nature of the construct and the structure and the leadership will fall out of it. And it's not that difficult. If you look at countries like Italy and Brazil, they've defined their style and form of football. Not only that, they've structured their football in such a way that it is part and parcel of their national identity. Therefore, their football economy has grown. And that is what we need to do. This idea of bringing in a foreign coach to do what? To achieve what? So I will strongly argue that we go back to the drawing board as a nation to look at football from different perspectives, from the notion of football economics, from the notion of development itself, from the notion of human capacity building, from the notion of national value, from the notion of culture. And when we define that construct, then we will now develop it as an industry. Therefore, then we can start to look at the leadership and then engaging with the world later on. And we don't even have to engage with the world. We can engage with ourselves. Over 200 million people, that's a multi-nation. So what does that mean in terms of Nigeria? Where are we? Going back to Big Sheikh's question. I believe we need to rethink our national development policy and trajectory. If I pick on the current government and their attempt to fix all the things that needs to be fixed, what is also wrong, it's the same thing I've just said about football, is they're not sitting down to think what should be our economic principle as a nation. What kind of nation do we even need to become? One of the things I'm sure if I ask 100 Nigerians now, I'm absolutely convinced that over 90% of them will not give me the right answer or have an answer. The question is, what is the vision of our country? Do we have a defined vision? Do we have a coordinated thought about where we want to be in the next 20, 30, 40 years? And when you're visionless, you always just be dabbling into different policy, doing quick fixes, trying to patch things up, railroaded by politics and foreign ideas, and Keynesian economy will start to rule us. We cannot until we sit down to rethink, what does Nigeria mean? What does it mean to be a Nigerian? Or what does Nigerianness really mean? Without that philosophical reflection that will give us that blueprint and clarity of definition and purpose, we will not develop. We will always just go scattergun. We will also always be borrowing ideas from the UK and the rest of Europe, dabble into a bit of American democracy that doesn't even fit into what we are as Africans. Even within the African context that we were leading as a nation, we've lost our space and our place, again, because we haven't defined Nigerianness in the context of itself and the context of the rest of the world. The rest of black African nations are looking up to us. Black Americans are looking up to us. But the question is, what are they looking up to? We need to create that vision. We need to create that sense of purpose. Without that, we will struggle and we will always be all over the place for the next couple of decades. And that would be a shame. noting your very simplistic but apt, social experiment of identifying the demography of Abeokuta. Nigeria is a youthful population. And the reason why people are jackpine, going back to the point made earlier, is that they can't see that vision. I mean, let me quickly just land on, for those of us who are Christians. When Moses sold the idea of the land full of milk and honey, it was a clear narrative. We're going to the land full of milk and honey, a place made by God for us. That was all he said. He didn't mention where it is geographically. He didn't mention what the economic policy will be. He didn't mention whether it's going to be a tech-based nation. He had that one line, and people lined up behind that. And many things happened as a result of that. We need that clear narrative of what and where Nigeria should become, that every Nigerian we buy into. When our vision is clear, then what we need to do to get there will become clear. There will be there'll be turbulence along the way. There will be issues along the way. We will miss it sometime. The Israelites spent 40 years as opposed to 40 days to be candid. So yeah, it will take some time. But at least we have a purposeful being as a nation. To me, fundamentally, that is what is wrong. Without that, everything else will be just pure theoretical.
We have a vision. We have visionaries. We have a vision. But we need people to take us there. You know, I went to China many years ago. And that was in 1977.
Wow.
I visited China in 1977. China was a third world country.
Absolutely.
Very few cars on the road. Very few. Everybody was riding on a bicycle.
Bicycles, yeah.
And they didn't have color television. This was in 1977. And I went to India a few years after. India was a third world country.
Absolutely.
And China, in those few years, in fact, the Prime Minister of Antigua was telling us yesterday that China's development in the past 30 years to go from third world to where it is now, a first world economy, took less than 30 years, between 20 and... So it doesn't take a lifetime for this change to come. You have listened to Adeagbo there, and we see the energy in Nigeria that you don't find anywhere else.
Absolutely.
But we don't see the kind of leadership that will take that vision and convert to something else. But something tells me that something is happening now. Your own thought. Something's happening now. I don't know what it is.
I like the example that Mr. Adeagbo just shared with us with regards to Moses. You know, leadership is a big thing. For us, I think that's one of the major issues that we need to resolve is our leadership and people that would take us to the next level. You see, all of the ingredients, as I would put it, all the things, the resources that we need to make this Nigeria a great nation, they're already there. It is how you now transform it through people that would, bring that implementation to the reality of actually having to achieve who Nigeria should really be. I remember, I think it was Nelson Mandela that said something when he was in jail. And when he was released, he said, listen, guys, Nigeria and all of the African nations that I've seen, when I went into the prison, yes, Nigeria was more like a third world country, but all of these countries that are coming out and developing, when I came back out of prison, I felt Nigeria would have been one of the greatest countries ever, not even UK or America standing next to them. But he then said, the issue is your leadership. And so for us, we need to get that right. I don't know how. The people believed in Moses when he came out, just like he said. And it's that leadership and that direction that we need. I don't know how that's going to happen. I may be confused about that myself.
maybe Adeagbo will tell us, because he's also one of the leaders of our pan Yoruba socio-cultural organization. In Yoruba land, you are one of those that are driving development. You were part of the Yoruba Academy, part of the New Dawn Commission, initiative, and what it is now a very successful commission for that matter, that is leading the rest of the country in vision. What do we do about leadership? What do we, even in Yoruba land today, are we producing the right kind of leadership, or is the problem really the followership that is springing up the leadership? Me, I don't know. We are looking for leaders.
Yes, we are. It's a big conundrum, actually. I mean, there's no golden bullet to fixing the leadership paradigm. However, what we need to do is to consciously build new leaders. I was having a conversation with one of our state governors about a week ago about this. And his view, and a valid one, is that we need to start from our value system. We need to revisit that and find the mechanism and a system to imbibe, inject, ingrain the right values into the followership, going back to Big Sheikh's concept. However, I think that's a long rope that is difficult to measure. If you look at what happened in Malaysia, it was the leadership. And leaders can set the tone and the temperature of the environment. Leaders can even, in some cases where required, China, you mentioned earlier, Malaysia did a lot of re-engineering socially, can drive that change. Sometimes you may have to do it forcefully. To answer your question, we need a deliberate approach to developing new leaders. If that means we have to identify or clearly define what the specification should be, identify a few individuals, lock them up in a cabin for a couple of decades, and they come out and they start to do the work, so be it. The thing, though, is the Nigerian situation, going back to your subtle worry, which I think should be more explicit, is like we want omelette, but we don't want to break the egg. It's impossible. We must be ready for that shake-up. We must be ready to break the egg. As Yoruba said, we must be ready to self-destruct, and in some cases self-destruct, to create the Nigeria that we want. So leadership is a challenge. The biggest challenge we face now is that those that could potentially be incubated to become these leaders are now absolutely, totally tainted by the derelict level of lack of social value.
Thank you.
An average Nigerian young person now, if you open their head, you'll be scared what you see.
Absolutely.
If you ask them who their role model is, they probably will mention Davido before they even mention anybody worthy of note. And that also is a product of the environment that we have created. But we can recreate it. I was talking to a young person here a couple of weeks ago, and I remember the period of war against discipline. And I was fairly young, and all of a sudden, Nigerians are, we could be unruly, we don't subscribe to, rules and regulations at best. We were queuing up. I mean, we had a reset button. All because we had a leadership then that said, this is the way to do it or else. And we probably have to get back to that. I mean, you gave the example of China. China had to do a lot of social re-engineering. Many people had to be, extradited or jailed. Possibly some lost their lives.
In Ghana, they killed the whole generation.
Absolutely, with Jerry Rawlings.
Yeah, with Jerry Rawlings.
I just wanted to add to what you just said in this thing about how do we bring new leaders. We debated this thing about a few weeks ago, and we said we need to reconstruct the youth in that sense, the values and the models. We now determined and said, at what age? Where do you start from? We had to come to the point of agreeing that even the unborn, maybe we need to find a technology that will help us. That will help us inject those values into the unborn. Because the younger ones, even now, those values they're eroded. The things when we were growing up as we had. And that's what still makes this country what it is, because it's not everybody that you see in Nigeria that has lost those values.
Yeah.
They're still there,
Yeah.
especially some of us that grew up in those early, 60s and the 50s and the 70s. We can see that, So for me, it's a big one. I don't know how we're going to really restructure our society so that, the new ones coming in can take over, and then they can, because these ones, it's not in our own time. I don't think it will happen in my time. That's my conclusion.
You're right, but we can start the journey, actually. Yeah. It's a journey, it's not a destination. So it needs to start somewhere. It needs to start now.
Absolutely.
Start now.
That's what we are doing in Wasimi.
Absolutely.
That's what we are doing today.
Yes.
We're assembling young, upwardly mobile professionals to come together, spend some time, and start to share these great concepts and ideas and vision, and come to some conclusion about the things to do. We need to do things. We need to be like Nike. Just do those things.
Do it.
Just do those things.
Just do it.
And that's what we'll be doing in Wasimi. And Dr. Adeagbo is going to be speaking with us later in the day on that subject. Yes. I can't wait. Just listening to you this morning.
Absolutely.
I see that you are primed for it.
I don't know about that. It's going to be a conversation piece, actually.
It's going to be a conversation. So we go on our last break. We have just a few more minutes to go. We go on our last break. When we come back, then we shall round off the show for this morning. So join us after the break.
Peace, our home. Oh, your peace, our goal. Everyone has a place they need to be. Everyone has a face they need to see. When you go away, you love to fly, and we fly you safely through the sky. Ticket affordable, city comfortable, we very reliable, we care for you. A peace, our home. Oh, if you're gonna fly, then you shall fly with us on a peace.
Shagway is really an artist these days. He's untouchable in that right flag. Shagway is still going, and it's in the net. It is in the net. Goal number 3, incredible.
Eagle 7 Sports Radio, the best sports.
It's lights out and away we go. Sebastian Vettel gets a flyer ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
He's out too. I don't think he's getting up. He's done the left hand. He'll never get up.
The best station, the best for you.
Within one.
Eagle 7 Sports Radio. Fly with us.
Welcome back. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio. It is a sports radio station, but you can see that we are discussing social subjects. I'm not going to say political subjects. We are discussing social subjects. And we're discussing leadership, and the dearth of leadership. And it's painful that in Yoruba land, the land that birthed Chief Obafemi Awolowo, birthed Ernest Shonekan, MQ Abiola, Olusegun Obasanjo, Professor Wole Soyinka, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Now we are searching for leaders. Something is wrong. Oh. Me, I don't know. You are a historian when it comes to Yoruba culture and history. What? I am here. I want to be a leader.
you're already
make me a leader, and the first thing I will do in this my own area is that we have a whole stretch. This is downtown Abeokuta. I'm saying it over again. This is the most populated part of Abeokuta. The young environment. We've not had electricity here in 5 months. Not for a second. Not for a second.
Wow.
The street lights are there. All over Okelewu, Adigbe, Kwari, and everywhere is in darkness.
Wow.
For this year, we've not seen 1 inch of electricity.
Wow.
So what are we talking about? You go out there, you see the overhead pedestrian bridge. Yeah. It is the only one of its kind that I know of in the world. I've never seen anything like this. It could just become an economic center of some sort, attracting persons to just come and view this unique thing that you don't find anywhere else in the world. But you can't go under it now. Just take a look, you would weep. So I don't know what's going on. We just, look, Yoruba and leadership, we used to produce the best leaders in this country. Yeah. But something has gone awry. Maybe your last words on that before we go. Adeagbo.
Thank you. A French philosopher, René Descartes, said, I think it was 17th century, he used a popular phrase that is still being cited today, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. What Descartes was telling us in his philosophy is that we can think ourselves into existence. He was an existentialist philosopher. Part of the reason, and it's not the only one, but one of the fundamental reasons why we have not produced new leaders is that we stopped to think. We don't think anymore. So you cited Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He was a deep thinker. And the thoughts he had birthed the developmental paradigm that is shared with us in Yoruba land, and he did across Nigeria. Until today, we're still referencing free education. I remember very clearly in the days of UPN then, I can tell you what the mantra of the party stood for: free education, free hospital. Now we have political parties in Nigeria now. What do they really stand for? And that's because they are not thinking. We need to go back to thinking. We need to go back to the Descartesian principle. We need to start to think and rethink and think ourselves into new existence. Then we can start to think about the type of leadership that we need for this new age.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Bishop. My name is Olushola Talabi.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Talabi.
How are you, sir?
Very well, very well.
Good morning to the gentlemen in the house.
Good morning.
You have the mic. So go on.
I'm particularly excited this morning because I'm very quick. As a young man, I used to go visit National Stadium and was there all over a gentleman, Segun Adeagbo. Honestly, I now get to see Adeagbo very last year. I'm excited this time he's giving new things and new things on them. One of them is what we are talking about this morning. That's why we're here. And I want to start to get to know there. Honestly, Nigeria is a great country. It takes me each time I listen and I'm thinking, why are we being backward now? I guess, honestly, it's like a big challenge. But I believe we can get there. Our vision to be clear made about. I listen to say this gentleman talk about what are we doing with football to address Nigeria to define a cause. And just 2 days ago, you were talking about leadership. That was where I was saying. He listed areas of fantastic gentlemen that come out from Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. And I said, wow. Is it because we have not been able to bring leadership successes? It goes on and on and on. But I agree with you that we have a great country. Leadership. When we say leadership, what are we doing? How do we get leaders? I think we are part of the leadership. We are the leaders. So I think thank you very much. I think I'll just thank everybody for doing this.
Oh boy!
So much.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. You see, that's I hear the voice of a frustrated person, somebody that the environment is frustrating, just like all of us. We are being frustrated by the things around us, and we appear to be helpless against it. And where do we start from? From the homes. That's difficult to monitor. From the schools, from the primary schools and secondary schools. those are institutions that exist. We can monitor, we can measure, we can, probably that's where we want to start from. But, or start from our different communities. We are going to Wasimi this morning.
Yes, we are. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait.
Let's take this last call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah. Am I on to Mathematical 7?
You are on to 90 minutes with Mathematical on Eagle 7 Sports Radio.
Oyegunle is my own name from Abeokuta.
Very good. Your name is Abayomi?
Oyegunle.
Oh, Oyegunle. You are welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Make your contribution.
Well, I was just thinking, and in my thought, you came up with an analogy.
Yeah.
That here in Pasheke, you've not enjoyed a pinch of electricity.
For 5 months. For 5 months, yes.
Baba, what then do those youths that live from Pasheke to Kolubu to Kwari, which only off? How do you want them to think straight? How much are they being given from home to maintain themselves in schools? So it's just like the last speaker has spoken. It's a long process. But I'm one of the people that never lose hope in Nigeria. I have the hope this country one day. Without violence, we will get it. Just like we do in our sport. Gradually, I'm getting, of course, I don't support you when it comes to issue of indigenous coaches. But one day we will get there. And it's also tell Nigerians, don't let us look slow. It might be hard, it might be painful, we might go through any process. But I trust God will take us there one day.
Amen.
It's a pathetic situation.
Amen.
I live in Ogun State. We've not seen light in the last 2 months. And even when we have it, it's going to be in the midnight. So you have to wake up in the midnight, pump water, do this, do that.
Oh, you are lucky. You are lucky. You are lucky. You can wake up and even pump water. We are spending here in this radio station 1 million naira every month for power. 1 million naira every month for power without any income, with a lot of difficulty. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chief Oyegunle. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Final words from my friends here in the studio before we all go to Wasimi for our retreat. I just can't wait. That is the best place to be in the world this morning.
Absolutely.
And all of you out there, you are not welcome.
It's a retreat. Emphasis on retreat.
Final thoughts.
Very final one. Last year, I was opportune to be in a space with former U.S. President George Bush. And he was asked about, it's the first time possibly second time in American history, aside when there was a Vietnam War, that America is so divided socially, politically, economically, name it. That what does he think the prediction will be for America as a nation? And he said America is going to stand still. Nothing is going to, it will be shaking a little bit, but we survive it. And I said, why do you think so? He said, because we have institutions that are larger and bigger and has more resilience than individuals and even the presidency. I believe what our generation can do, going back to your point around it wouldn't happen now, and I kind of agree with you, sadly. What we hold Nigeria, people of our age, is to start to build those institutions. Now, it don't have to be huge 20-story building. Black Table is an institution. I think when we start to see those little cohorts of establishment as institutions that are adding value to our system, and we have them in multiple places, as Big Sheikh said, it could be in our home, in our churches and mosques, our social club, in our political space. Those are the platform and the bedrock of what we build the new Nigeria on in the future. So let's start to build institutions as part of the journey to the Nigeria that we all aspire to, and we all hope that one day will emerge in its full glory. Thank you.
Eddie, final words.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I've had a wonderful time. I've been really, really educated myself through this meeting here this morning. My final words is mainly to our leadership. They can still make that change. You have an opportunity to impact. This is the time to do it. When you are out there, God has placed you on a pedestal where you can make a difference. I think you need to think, really deep about that and ensure that happens. I am speaking to our leaders. If they're hearing us this morning, I really call out to you guys and say, you can still make that change. You can bring that difference. And one at a time, things will happen. Thank you.
I see the faint outlines of a nation that is going to be at peace, fertile, and strong. I thank you all for being a part of this morning's show. Thank you, Dr. Adeagbo, for coming.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, Eddie Abraham, for coming.
Thank you for having me,
Let's
sir.
go have some fun
Absolutely.
at
Absolutely.
the retreat in Wasimi. Join us again next week, Saturday. Bye for now.